Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 82 today, and we know we are coming from a bit of a reprieve. We did not have a video last week.
Right.
My kids ended up testing positive for RSV, and there was a mandatory quarantine for that. In our area, it is much more contagious than even COVID right now. And so we did what we had to do to just recover and make sure
survive. Mom had to stay home for over a week.
Yeah.
With toddlers.
It was okay. We did all right. So, yep, I just figured that I would let you know why we had to take that break. Not
why we don't have the kids today.
Yep. We shouldn't have any distractions, fingers crossed. So, all right. Will be nice to see what we all got done in that amount of time.
Yeah. So I am still working on the granny rectangles that Anya from Ophelia Talks is doing for the month of November. And at first I only had 7 rounds. Now I'm up to 10. And I think each of the 9 are supposed to be 14 rounds, except one is supposed to be 15 so that you can start putting them together. And so these are at 10. And I'm taking my time with these. I'm trying to pick the right colors, and I'm having a ball with that part. But and whenever I go over to watch my grandkids, I have them helping me pick colors, and they like that too. And we were just talking about that, so that's what brought that up. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 at 10 rounds. So that leaves 3 more that I got to get up to 10, and then I'm gonna work my way up to the 14 mark. And so this is one, and it's been really fun just having all the different colors that you can combine together, and I can't wait to see it all together. I haven't even seen hers all together yet, so I don't think she's there at that point yet, but just all the different colors that you can put together. And so yeah, and then this last one. So yeah, it's just been really fun doing the granny stitch on these rectangles. And I hadn't heard on the first video that she was only doing 9. I was just going to keep going because I didn't mind starting them from the beginning even. But I think I'm going to try and just do what she's doing for this blanket in particular. And then if I want to make a bigger one, I know how to do it that way. And so I'm just going to do what she does for this first one. And I'm thinking that it's going to be really good for me to know this. But I was also looking into Project Linus and trying to figure out where the donation places are. I'm not sure, but maybe our Joann's is one of the locations to drop off. I'm going to ask. I'm not sure about it. But I'm thinking with all these blankets that I have sitting around here, and I have other ideas for them too, but kids in need and kids that have medical problems or whatever the situation is, fire in their home or whatever, that they don't have.
Any version of tragedy.
What they consider a blanket for these little kids is they consider it a hug. something that they can wrap around them and get a hug from. And so that just kind of touched my heart. And with the Christmas season coming up and with kids on my brain, that was kind of something that just, and I love Peanuts anyway. I have always loved the cartoons, and so, you know, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Linus. So it's all kind of wrapping up and culminating into, well, now I've got a place to send my blankets because I think my family is overwhelmed with me giving them all to them. But so maybe we'll just figure out a different way to do this, and maybe the kids can benefit from that. And I'm just really hoping that maybe someday we can, if I do find a location, that maybe we could start sharing that around here, and then maybe getting our subscribers on board with it and sending to their locales, wherever their donation site is. So it's just something to think about, but that's just been something that I have been considering, and hopefully it's something that you might consider as well. So what have you been up to?
Well, first off, that's really cool. And second, this really reminds me of like a 70s. You know, like...
It has me too, especially when you get into the browns and stuff.
Yeah, like, there's something about it being so geometric and contrasting. And I remember when I first got into crochet, the most crocheting books I used to get were much more of like 70s crochet books.
Right.
And just seeing all these different items or applications of the art in such funky ways, and just it always just being like, wow, that is just so bold.
Yeah.
Yep. And this just kind of feels like a throwback to that, and I feel like someone's gonna really, I mean, I love this. I love the 70s blanket that you made. It's one of my favorites that I have still at the house.
But even if you wanted to tone it down, you could just do earth tones, or you could just do black and white and gray.
Or yeah, you could you could do the AB or ABC pattern where you're just going through back and forth. And so it's very versatile.
Yeah.
And obviously it does get your stash taken care of.
Oh yeah, and as a stash buster, this is really
brilliant.
Yes. And I'm so happy with the results of it so far.
Well, and on top of it, it's a very interesting shape. I mean, normally grannies are in squares. And so to be able to just know that even some of your bigger versions of your scraps can still go to some sort of a use.
Yeah.
You know, you can make one of these every month after doing some of your other projects and just really bust it out. And then when you have enough, you can just
you could make one a month. And then at the end of the year, you'd have 12 of them and put them together, and you'd have a nice size blanket.
Yeah.
So that's another idea.
Because that way you know, if you're running out of ideas, but have all these scraps after doing a lot of your ideas during the month, there's a productive way to be able to kind of still get those used up.
That's true.
It doesn't need to be a culminative, let's do this all at one time.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that Ophelia has something about, you know, it's the end of the year. We've all been doing a lot of projects.
Yeah.
The reality is a lot of us have these small bundles, and they're probably in baskets, bags, even grocery bags.
I have them in drawers.
So it's one of those things where it's like, this is a good way to kind of eliminate that, create more room, and still have it be a work of art by the end of it.
Exactly.
So, and give it love.
And if you did it for the whole year, just imagine what your projects were for the whole year, and then you're using those scraps one rectangle at a time, and all through the year you're going to remember, oh, that was that, and this was that, and this was that, and
Yeah.
and it would be a combination of all of it, and you'd have 12 rectangles, and you could just make it and remember what you did for the whole year.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of like a different version of like a journal and stuff. Like you see those. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. You see those different projects where it's like the thermometer one, where
Yeah.
like a certain color of your choosing represents a different temperature range. So like it could be like 0 to 20, 20 to 32, 32 to 45.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
the ranges in which realistically your area hits, and you can kind of it can be in like 5-degree increments, but it's like every single morning you wake up, you acknowledge what the estimated weather is going to be for that day. You even just write it down, and by the end of the week you have 7 rows you need to get done. And like you said, you just buy the yarn that you've coordinated with that
Yeah.
time temperature, and every day you just add to that
For a whole year.
for a whole year.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting idea.
That's a nice concept for a blanket too, because it makes it very colorful.
I know somebody that did it with a scarf because they weren't sure if they were going
Yeah.
to be committed to a blanket.
Yeah. Well, 365 rows, that's a scarf.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought that wasn't a bad idea
Yeah.
of like a different way to be able to approach that.
Yeah. That's true.
So to get back to what you were saying, I had a really weird night last night where I didn't sleep. So pardon me if I'm off. I literally came here with the last project I remember making. Because it's been 2 weeks.
You've had sick kids. We all can agree that that's a reason not to remember what you've done.
Yeah, but I admittedly took a break a couple days ago because I was waking up with my thumb, and I've talked about this before, but when I really just dedicate all my spare time to my projects, which is what I have been doing, I wake up to my thumb almost being like out of place, like I feel it out of place, and it's like there's swelling around the base joint, and I feel like I always have to pop it back in. I'm not saying that it's out of socket necessarily, but it's like the swelling raises it or does something to it where I'm having to crack that air pocket, and it's obviously that it was not where it was meant to be. I had to push it there,
Crack it back in
some capacity because the swelling got to it over the night. And it was to the point where that was every morning I was waking up with that. Now, I wasn't feeling it throughout the day because I warmed up that muscle.
Right.
And it's just because I was using the muscle a lot. But it was one of those things where it's like one morning I woke up and I did it, and I was like, I can't just ignore this today. I gotta let it rest. I gotta let my hands rest. And so I picked up a book instead, and then I didn't put the book down for the last couple of days until I finished it. So that kind of took precedence. But in saying that, I'm tired. I didn't sleep last night, and like I said, I was only thinking of the last project I remember picking up in the last 2 weeks. But that does not mean that I didn't get a lot of things done. I don't have them all to show you because for some reason I didn't even remember that I did it.
Oh man.
But my progress report on my mother-in-law's blanket, because her birthday did pass, is that I got all the squares done. All the squares are accomplished. I let her know that milestone. It was never meant to be her birthday gift. It was just that I was hoping to be able to give it to her on her birthday, as it is an order that she told me I could take my time on. But situation right now is that I just need to take the time to realistically get them blocked. I'm actually going to get them wet and block them out, because the ones that have been blocked really do hold nicely.
Yes.
And it obviously worked with whatever the materials were. So I'm going to start there, and then I think with the ones that I had bordered before, I might unborder them and kind of start from scratch where I do the same thing with all of them. Because I'm not quite satisfied with how the ones that were bordered look.
Yeah.
They're kind of curling in. It's not like it's laying flat. And I know that the blanket has weight. So there's a part of me that's like, if I border each square, even if it doesn't lay flat, there's the likelihood that once the weight's on it, you're not even going to notice. But I don't want it to look like a ripple.
Right.
When she's wearing it, hanging it over something, she's really excited about it getting done. So I don't want that, and I want to do this right. Obviously, she didn't spend all this money on this really, really expensive yarn for me to mess this up. So I'm taking some time to deliberate. My current goal is to have it done by Christmas, so she can have it by then no matter what. The end of the year is my deadline. I am very grateful that I was able to push forward and be able to get the squares done days before her birthday. But like I said, that week, which would have been last week, a lot went down when the kids got RSV, and a lot of my plans just went right out the window. So my motivation kind of waned a little. But my mother-in-law, like I said, perfectly fine with it, was super excited that I was even that far along, and just said she'd like to know what the next steps are and when it will be done likely. And I told her the estimation would be just those couple of steps. You know, I'm at the point in which it's more tedious work than anything else. I have to weave the ends in, I have to block it, I have to border each square before I actually assemble the Afghan, and then I have to debate whether I want to actually make a border or not after that. I'm on the more tedious end of it, but the long haul mental weight of the blanket is over.
Yeah.
I've done the bulk of it, even if this still takes almost
detail work.
Detail work to me is somewhat worse than the bulk.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away the fact that there is a weight lift off my shoulders, that I have completed the bulk, where it's like, now I have no other excuse but to actually now get the project done. There's nothing holding me back besides just getting these steps done.
Right.
So in the next week or so, I will be working, you'll be seeing that project again. It's not going to be immediately because of obviously the Godzilla. Godzilla does need to be done by the beginning of December.
Yeah.
Because my nephew ain't gonna wait forever.
And
it's his birthday.
It's his birthday. He needs a present.
So that's gonna be done. That's gonna, like I said, that was my main project that I've been focusing on. I got Arlene's squares done. I was excited. I set that aside, and then I had mentioned last time I saw you that I was doing an emoji pillow for Olivia.
Yeah.
I thought I shared that with you, but my mom said that that wasn't in the video, but I didn't bring it with me because for some reason I thought that it had been shared.
Your idea had been shared, but not the actual project.
Well, it's done. I made a face on a red little round pillow that fits her face, and she can scream into it, and it's fantastic, and it works. My daughter's been learning how to control and be more productive with her bigger emotions, and right now I am at the state of I can't realistically stop her from screaming. She is 4, but I can control its volume.
Yeah.
By influencing her that if she needs that outlet, she just has to be productive with it. We're in a neighborhood, she can't just go outside and scream. So, scream into the pillow.
Yep.
It shares your big emotion. Let it out. I now have people that want them to and are waiting and keep asking me, other little ones. And Olivia on top of it was like, well, now I need a happy one, and now I need a sleepy one. And I'm just like, I was like, oh God.
Yep.
Yay!
And these are the little ones who like to pick the colors for me and have learned some of the colors. Like Olivia is very into pink and very into teal. Hey,
Yeah.
Guess what? Those are
your
my
favorite
colors. She didn't know that, but she does now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm thrilled. I'm just like, oh, yes.
And her favorite shape right now, besides an O for her name, is a heart.
Yep. And so I'm so happy with that, too. You know, she's my only granddaughter. I have to be happy about this.
So she was the one that got hit by RSV the hardest when we got diagnosed. And like I said, we have some guests in our home right now as they're going through a rough time, and one of them is a 6-year-old. And when winter hit, I pulled down my winter outer gear basket, so like gloves, scarves, hats, and she picked out a hat that had been Olivia's winter hat last year. I need a heavy hat for Olivia, but I just wanted Olivia's mind to be off of that hat, so she said that because I had made Miss Amy a hat, I had to make her a hat. And I don't think I ever told you this. But yeah.
So, and this little girl loves pink too. Very much so.
No, this is Olivia.
Oh, okay. I was talking about Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail definitely loves pink, but this is for Olivia. And now I have orders for that too. I couldn't make a hat for Olivia and a pillow for Olivia without having now gotten orders that I have to, make more emoji pillows for them and hats for all of them. And what's taking you so long? It's like, I have goals to reach. I have projects to do. I have so much going on, and it has nothing to do with me not wanting to make something for this little girl. I already have patterns, amigurumi patterns for what I'm making her, Olivia, and Kenya for Christmas. I just have to get past this Godzilla.
Yay.
But this is the hat I made Olivia. I remembered I made it walking past it on the floor when I grabbed my bag for the Godzilla stuff when I was walking out, because I thought that's the only 2 things I made. Even though I had done so much.
Right.
But yes, it's a very obnoxiously pink hat. So yes, I made this hat. It doesn't necessarily fit Olivia the greatest because I made it more of a beanie style and she needs something tighter. But this hat still works for much more of like if I'm taking her around town, it fits. If she were to play with it out in school, I wouldn't trust that it would stay on her head.
Well, the thing is my cousin Phyllis, who also watches our videos, donated a bunch of hats.
Yes, she did.
To Sarah's kids and to me. And so I have hats, her kids have hats. They're not going to have to worry about that.
Love you, Phyllis. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. I would like to let you know that one of the hats is now like a beanie sack blanket thing for my daughter's lamb.
It's a sleeping bag for it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a sleeping bag, and
she absolutely loves it.
And there it will remain. It's literally just holding this lamb lamb stuffy that she has, just like a swaddled newborn baby.
She needed something while she was sick, and
it literally
came in so perfect.
It was so great, and she loves it, and it really matches the lamb very well. It's the teal and white and dark blue one that you had made.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, that's all. So yes, I am going to make more hats. I am going to make the emoji stuff. That is not something I'm not doing. Please don't think that my drained energy comes off as that I was doing anything more than just survival.
Right.
The only reason I did 2 projects in a row for Olivia, like I said, was the pillow was something that I did because I wanted her to have an outlet. The hat was only because I was trying to make sure that she could see, hey, mommy can make this for you. You don't have to worry about it, and you can design it yourself. What color do you want it to be? And she chose the color, like you said, and like it was really fun. And yeah, I have no problem doing that for my guests and my sons. So I will likely do that at some point. You'll see it before the end of the year that I've gotten those done. Before I get to the Godzilla stuff, the one update I wanted to make, I saw some suggestions that I could just restart over with Amy's hat and just have that hat be for someone with a small head in the comment section. Really good idea. I already ripped it out to that row and finished it by the time I saw that comment.
Well, and it fits her now? Mm-hmm. Good.
She wears it all the time.
Good.
I did take a photo of it.
Okay.
I don't know you can definitely see the difference between the size that it was to the size that it is now. So as long as I can pull this up real quick, then I can show you my progress on my Godzilla. Okay, so this is where it was. You can see that it domes off way too quickly.
Right.
And now it was much taller. I just had to go back down to the second repeat, create one more repeat before doing the 17 rows to dome it off at the end, and now it fits her really well.
Good.
So I just went back, like I said, to that row. I looked down, I found the row, the V's for that row, and I slid my needles back through there, undid my knot, and I had to frog it to that point.
Right.
But
you knew how to do that, so that worked out.
It allows forgiveness without me having to frog the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I understand where that was coming from, where it's like, don't frog the whole thing, just start over. And that makes complete sense. I wanted to conserve as much yarn for other things that she might want me to use it for. I've done the gloves, I've done the hat. I've told her I'd do a headband for her ears if she wanted to. You know, she also was talking about maybe instead of the ear thing, because now she has the hat, maybe leg warmers. So it's one of those things where it's like, if this yarn really pulls through and lasts long enough that I can have this little set of things that I've made for her with the same yarn, I wanted to. But otherwise, your point is very valid. If it was another situation, it really would have just been just as easy to have started over and had two hats of different sizes. Yeah. So I do appreciate that. So last time with Godzilla, I was in a situation where my mom had pointed out to me, the body is done, spiral tail is done. I do have to still do spokes down the tail portion, not its back. Get the limbs done, and that way, no matter what success you have on the spines / fins, whatever you want to call them that go down its back, you'd still be able to offer it a full functioning stuffy if you didn't get these details done. Yeah. I did the arms. They did not take that long. By any stretch of the imagination, it was a very satisfying, really quick,
and we did
get
see
it
that
done.
in the last video.
Yes. I think they're still in the bag that I have right here. I don't know what came over me, because like I told you guys, I was terrified of these fins. I thought that these fins, spines, whatever they're called, were going to take too darn long. Right. And they were going to be too tedious, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And am I looking forward to finishing them? No. I'm not going to lie. But the reality is that this is part of the thing that was causing my hand to hurt, was because I wasn't giving myself a break. I was determined to just get them all done and have them done, and that way I have no excuse to just get onto the legs and then just assemble it. It's not a bad plan. Right. But realistically, that's not what I did. I had to take a break because my hand was hurting. But what I did was, the pattern calls for one extra large fin or spine, 2 large ones completed. I think this is 6 mediums. Yes. Yep. And the one I have not gotten to yet, because I'm still trying to finish the mediums, is the 4 smalls. I looked at the pattern and I could see what it required and why it needed so many. And so it's not without, it's reasonable to say, hey, I probably really should get this done.
Right.
And for some reason, me looking at the pattern for the legs was just not vibing. I know that sounds weird. I really have to be in the mood for patterns, and I already am pushing myself to get things like this blanket and things like this done because I said I would do it, and I'm trying to stay to my commitments. Nothing obviously wrong with that, but I'm also just sitting here just being like, what portion of the project is within my control? I don't have to follow it in order when it's an assembled piece. I can do the body, then do the legs, then do the arms, then do the fins, or whatever combination it was. Because most patterns kind of just are like, this is the order in which I recorded it, not that you have to necessarily always do it that way.
Right.
Normally I do, but with this one it was like there's so much assembly once the pieces are done. I want to designate my energy to what I'm actually having energy for. So what I did is I grabbed Ziploc bags and I did this where I'm categorizing my
With a recipe card.
My fins, with a recipe card.
That's
so
awesome.
This one says done on it because I only need to do one of these. And these, Godzilla has some funky back, okay? Like, I don't understand, but they're fins, but then they have spikes coming off of them, and so...
It just makes them more, of a character, right?
Yeah.
To have all that stuff.
Now, granted, I really think I did save my butt, and I won't have to go back realistically and make all that embroidery details. I think that just having this ombre
it works
yarn
great.
just fits this. So I have this one completed. This is the extra large. And I just, like I said, I wanted to make sure I could see my progress by putting them in the baggie so it wasn't going to be lost in my bag.
Yeah.
And not knowing which one was what one.
But I like the way that you did that. Size extra large, make one piece with a 3mm hook. And then she wrote done when she was done with it. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Size large, same thing. I'm done with this, but I had to make 2 of them.
And you're leaving the tails on it to sew it in.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So these are the 2 largest. And I have these in their baggie with what they are so that when I'm in assembly, I can just bring out all these baggies and be able to take out a piece out of the bag, not just, whoa, let me see what sizes these look like they are.
Yeah, true. This is so awesome.
This one's the one with the 6. I do have 2. Nope. Nope and nope. Okay. So I forced myself to get all of the fins done so I had the body of the fins done. As you can see, this one doesn't have the spikes yet because I haven't made them. Pretty much the design of these fins is that you're making a magic ring, you're going in the increased fashion that it wants you to go in, but eventually in some cases you can see there's a hole that they want you to create where eventually you will cast back on and go in small little rounds to be able to make small little spikes going from you're casting on right there to decreases and making the little spikes. That's what these would look like. So these are completed ones in mediums. And this is ones without the little spikes yet.
That's cool.
So, oh, this one actually has to be finished. Good Lord. This one has all 4 spikes on it. So like I said, I was in the middle. I had just marathoned getting all these done in one sitting.
Yeah.
And then I was going to put them down, and then over the course of the couple nights, I was going to get all this little spikes done. And like I said, I kept waking up with my thumb being so sore and popping, and it would just, you could feel the blood flow rushing to the area. And it wasn't like it didn't heal and the inflammation would go down on its own, because it did, but it was one of those things where it's like, I gotta pace myself. Like, I just got done with the hat, I got done with the pillow, I got done with that blanket, and it's all different yarn sizes, all different. I'm going from a heavier yarn and weight size, and like needle and material, and it gliding over my fingers and making them dry already, to crocheting a little pillow, to knitting a tight hat, to going back to very tight crochet because it's small. And because I can't seem to find my normal millimeter hook, I've been using this little thing, which is one of my favorite tools in my little toolkit, which is, I have a 3mm and a 5mm of this little tool. And what it is on one side is a crochet hook, and on the other side it's a knitting needle. And you always have this little lifesaver of a 3mm size of whatever a yarn craft you do available. And I've literally just been having it in my hand, actually poking into my hand, trying to just get this done, because I'm just too lazy to go find my other one. I'm not gonna lie, I know that's what it is, but in the active working bag, I have my scissors, a darning needle, and a little stitch marker so I know where I'm at in the beginning of my rows. And tonight, I've gotten done with my book. I will start another one likely tonight at some point, or tomorrow morning, because that was really good. It was very nice to be able to have that consistency and kind of having that appetite be met as well. But I'm going to start doing this while still watching my show. And I'll start that back up tonight, and I'm going to finish getting these done. I did consider getting all of the bodies done and then going back and doing the spines, but I knew that was going to drive me nuts. So I just decided to do it by size. I'd do it, complete it, a whole bag would be done. So after I'm done with this, it's smalls. That's even that much quicker. I just literally have to complete 4 small ones, and whatever the spike is, that's gonna be the less time consuming one. Then I will have all the spikes ready. I then just have to make 2 legs, which the legs pattern, when I looked at it, is not that hard. I just, for some reason, felt like I had the determination of hellfire in me to be able to get these spikes done.
Well,
so I wanted to get it done.
And he's going to appreciate it. He will really appreciate this.
Yes, I know. I really know he will. So you will see if I am really, to be fair, if I'm really doing what I'm saying I'm going to do.
Don't forget your needle.
Now, I don't know if I'll have it done by next time we technically film. Like, if it was by next Wednesday itself, I likely would be able to. But this next time we film is earlier than normally previously scheduled. So, I don't know. I guess in the next couple of days we have to film again.
She's going on a trip next week, so we're scheduled to film earlier. And so, she might not have as much done. But
I'm hoping to have a very big significant amount of this project completed. That will be what I share with you next time I see you.
So
we're kind of all over the place. I know this is a longer video than we have been making. I'm just really tired, and I really am not I don't know,
How about
choreographed
Yeah.
today.
we are going to have a giveaway, and it's going to happen in, I believe, 2 weeks. What we're doing is just announcing it today, and then when we film next time, we will show you what we have for the giveaway and ask you a question. And then the following week, we'll pick our winner, and that's how we'll do it. So, what
We're celebrating our 2-year
Your
anniversary
anniversary.
on the channel.
Yes.
And we have been doing small giveaways, which we very much enjoy. But with these yearly giveaways, we like to kind of do something a little bit more. Not that none of our giveaways aren't from the heart, but this one, very intentional,
Yeah.
not just formulated. So we are excited to share with you the theme of what we want to share with one of our subscribers this year. And again, stay tuned for this next video upload, so episode 83,
Yes.
to be able to know what the question is, to be able to enter into the giveaway.
Yes.
Because if you answer the question, then you're instantly in.
Unless we just ask it now.
No.
Okay. Wait till next time.
If you really want to have it done now, we can, but I don't even know what we're giving.
Right. All right. So we will do this next time. I'm just excited. I want it all out there.
I know.
Okay. We're gonna do our scripture just so I can get my mind off this. And actually, I found it this morning in my Bible study, and then I went to the Bible that I'm reading right now, the version that I'm reading, and found it in that version too. So you've got 2 scripture readings today, but it's the same verse. 2 different versions. So you read the first one, I'll read the second one.
Okay. So this verse felt very fitting as we are filming. This is the day before Thanksgiving, 2022.
Yeah.
Obviously, you will be seeing this uploaded on Black Friday, so the day after Thanksgiving. But verse is, better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened calf with hatred. Proverbs 15:17 NIV is where she got it out of with her Bible study.
Yes.
But when she went to look it up in her Bible, which was
Okay.
the NLT.
Yeah. It says, a bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than steak with someone you hate. Same Proverbs 15:17 in the NLT, New Living Translation. I just thought that was really neat. If you're going to be having a meal with somebody, and in their day, they considered vegetables to be animal food. They really they kept the only the people who were so low on the totem pole would eat the vegetables, and the steak and the heartier meals were for the more upper crust people. But for me, I would rather have vegetables than meat any day. And so when I found this, I'm just like, wow, that is so true. I would love to have, a bowl of vegetables with someone you love than steak with someone you hate. If you're going to sit down to have a meal with somebody, it's so much nicer when everybody gets along. There's going to be those days, there's going to be those times when someone is just in a bad mood or not their best self that day, and they're going to bring that to the table, and it's going to be a harder meal to get through. But we all can do our best and just make the meal as pleasant as possible for people. Kind words work wonders. And a smile can work wonders, and possibly get that person out of their bad mood into a good one. So that's all I'm going to say about that. A bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than steak with someone you hate. Proverbs 15:17, New Living Translation.
And the verse she wants me to read is in the NIV, which is same verse, Proverbs 15:17. Better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fattened calf with hatred. I almost look at this as you need to be satisfied with where you're at.
Yeah.
You need to be thankful for where you're at, which is very interesting because, like, if you think that, so obviously brought up classism. So if you're just assuming that your happiness is attached to your wealth, then by instantly telling yourself that you're not able to be happy unless you have achieved said goal, you're not setting a realistic expectation that happiness can be found anywhere. You're limiting your ability to be able to experience happiness and love and recognize that that is seen no matter the set expectations you have on whether you're the success of your situation. We can just sit down and be able to still spend quality time no matter maybe how we got the meal.
Right.
Then making it about this thing of, well, I got what I wanted, but I don't like how I got here.
Right.
And generally most people that get to this level of, well, I would rather just have the fattened calf, well, then you're not seeing the point.
Right.
It wasn't about the image.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of the same thing of Jesus being, making himself to be around those that were not necessarily seen upon as those of great reputation. So,
right.
Tax collectors were considered cheaters and greedy. He was around sex workers and people that are getting out of prison and people that were living off the streets a lot.
Yeah.
And those were the people that he hung around. And he associated with them and spent time with them enough that you can only imagine the tables he was at and how maybe low their banquet realistically was, but he
Right.
didn't look at what he was getting to gain out of it for fake friends. He was trying to spread love, and
Exactly.
and it had nothing to do with what it could offer him, but what he was able to offer.
And it wasn't about the food, it was about the love, for
Yeah.
mankind.
Right. And so, another way of putting it is, Father, Messiah, why aren't you in synagogues teaching those that have come to wait for you? Why heal the well? Isn't the doctor supposed to be with the sick?
Right. Exactly. And that's what I was thinking when you were talking that.
And I know that might not necessarily mean the same thing here, but it just applies the same moral of, it's the perspective. If your lens is on what you can gain, then you're probably not going to love how you got there.
Right.
Or the company that you're in, probably don't even trust it. Whereas you can find trust and quality
Right.
of company while recognizing that it's not always going to necessarily look bountiful all the time. It still holds the quality
Right.
and the worthiness of the meal.
And love satisfies
And
just about everybody.
And honestly, to be fair, If it's all about appearances, then you're already going to be tripped up because the quality of the meal has nothing to do with the quality of the people that are around you.
Exactly.
And if you're going to sell yourself for, if you're gonna put yourself out there for something as I don't know, singular or momentary as a meal,
Right.
than being able to actually be around people that you love.
Right.
Again, this can apply to money. This can apply to priorities with jobs. It could apply to, literally, what are you trading for to be around the people that you love? Just what is your priority to think that this is better to gain this instead of being around people that love you?
People are worth more than things.
Yes. So we hope that this is a good resource, that this was something that maybe kind of got your wheels turning. It was definitely a very interesting verse, to say the least, and definitely makes you think about what are we grateful for that we have.
Yes.
And not just think about what we don't have.
Right.
This whole part of the season is just to be able to recognize and gain the perspective of being able to appreciate what we have, even if we don't have everything that we hope to have.
Right.
You can still have your goals,
Right.
but don't let them blind you for what you actually have in front of you.
Yes, exactly.
So we love you guys. We hope that you enjoy this episode. If you've made it to the end, that's fantastic. We haven't made an episode this long, and it was such a long time.
Right. And leave us a comment.
Yep.
Hope you have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will see you next week, and please join us as we're going to share what the giveaway presents are going to be and what the question is. So as always, we love you, and we hope that you stitch your way
To mental health.